Welcome, everyone. We are about to get started in a few moments. Just bear with me for a sec. We'll just give people a couple minutes before we jump on in. Perfect. I can see people joining in. We'll get started in a few moments. Just bear with us. Oh, I can see people already typing in questions. Yes, so this will be recorded. I would stay for as long as you can because sometimes technology sort of messes up, but it should be fine for you to leave early. We'll probably get started at about 3 minutes past. Okay, perfect. Let's kick things off. Whilst we sort of wait for everyone, can you just type in, hey Damien, can you just type in where you're from, which hotel you're from, and just say hello, just so I can get a sense. And if you see me looking this way, it's because I've got the chat window on this side. So we've got Joe, we've got Peter. Nice. Damien, Scott. Oh, we got actually this webinar I've been quite excited for because last year we did this and it went crazy. It was the biggest webinar series we've ever done, and then this one completely tops that. It's pretty crazy because we were on a pretty decent tier for the webinar platform that we use, and we actually had to pay just to let everyone in because there's more people showing up to this one than we've ever had before, which is kudos to you guys, and obviously it adds a lot of value. Oh, we got Fiji, we got Byron Bay. So let me just read this through. We got Omana Luxury Villa. We've got Buffalo Lodge, Seaview Motel, Bushman's Motor Inn, Tweed Harbour, Sunseeker, Twizel, Magpie Cottage. I'm struggling to keep up, so welcome, and it's good to have so many people here. I guess just a little bit of housekeeping. There's two things now. This screenshot is from Zoom, but if you notice, we've changed platforms. We've changed over to this new platform, which is actually working out quite good for us. Let us know at the end of this how you found it, especially if you've been in the Zoom one. But there should be a way for you to chat with us as well as ask a question. So if because obviously the chat is sort of blowing up. If you have a specific question, just ask it of us, and then Kendra on my team is going to help out and just sort of sing out when a question sort of comes up, and she'll sort of pop her head in and out as questions come, because it's going to be a struggle for me to kind of keep up. But welcome. Perfect. Okay, so this is our Prino Academy. So we do this every year, and we, I guess the format of this and the purpose of this is not just for our customers, it's for the industry. So our goal here is not to be a sales pitch and sell you on Prino, although a lot of the examples we use will be with Prino, but if you've got existing software and you don't use us, I'm sure you can make it work with what you're currently using. But our goal is basically to try and help hoteliers out. And, you know, we always launched this campaign at the start of the year because we want you guys to get revved up and excited about this year. And I guess for most of us, it's the first year fully that we can leave COVID behind. So 2023, we're super excited for. Actually, funny story, I just got a call from a customer of ours, and one of the problems with being so close with so many customers is they call you for support. But anyways, he calls me up and he goes, Menilik, I haven't spoken to you well. And the reason I haven't spoken to you in a while is because we're 90% occupancy, and we've been that for the last 4 months. And so I thought that was really exciting. And I think, you know, the more hoteliers and the more people in the industry I'm talking to, the more I realize just how travel and tourism is coming back. And there seems to be this sort of excitement in the year with everyone. So that's, I guess, kind of why we did this, why we're doing this. A few other notes on housekeeping. There's a Facebook group that we have. Does everyone have access to the Facebook group? And if you don't have access to the Facebook group, can you just comment that you don't have access, and we can give you access to it? What that is basically a community group where it's basically hoteliers helping hoteliers. You know, we help in whenever we can, but basically that community is there to sort of support and grow the industry. And when we first launched it, it was all about helping hoteliers get more direct bookings. And as we sort of grow that, as we sort of expand that, we're finding hoteliers wanting more than just getting direct bookings. The other thing just to touch on is we have a Prino Academy. So if you don't know what that is, let me just show you quickly. Can you see? Oh, you can't see when I change tabs. So let me just quickly, Prino Academy. Cool. So I've switched over tabs. So Prino Academy, if you go to academy.prinohq.com, the easiest way to get there is to go to our website. And down the bottom of the website, there's a little link. But Prino Academy is a resource where you can learn a whole bunch of different skills. So things like email automation, how to increase your direct bookings, things on staff management. We've even got, and Damien, I actually saw him comment before, but he does a whole course basically breaking down how can you run Facebook ads, which is a pretty incredible course. And some of these we're giving away for free to everyone. I'm assuming, yes, I could see Scotty's comment. So everyone should have got some of these coupons. So our customers, if you're a Prino customer, you get, instead of having to pay $3,000 for this, you get it all for free. So we are constantly adding to this, and we basically want to give as much value to our customers as possible. If you're not a customer, you have to buy it, or as part of this Prino Academy, the Direct Booking Bootcamp, that we're doing. We're giving away a couple of courses for free that sort of support this. So if you want to go check that out, and if you haven't, it's only available so you can. So you basically, if you haven't logged in and you're not a customer, I would log in before the end of this webinar series, because once the webinar series ends, you won't have access to this. So I really encourage you to log in. And once you're in, you've got access for life. But if you don't log in before the end of this sort of campaign period, then you lose access, basically. Cool. So let me just switch over. Perfect. Everyone said hello, and the final note is this is recorded. So why are we doing this? So I guess part of the reason why we're doing this and why we're trying to educate the industry is because OTAs, online travel agencies, take a lot of your money. 15 to 25% is a lot of money to be charging you to sell your product. And so we, last year we started this basically as a way for giving you strategies and tools to get more direct bookings where you don't actually have to pay that commission. So that was the sort of reason we did this. As I said before, we're really trying to help the industry, and especially as international tourists come back, we want to kind of get you guys ready. I've said this again, it's not just for customers. And yes, I've already mentioned that this is the biggest event we've ever done, which is exciting. So that's why we're doing this. So today's lecture, what we'll talk about is harnessing the power of technology. And so what I really want to talk to first is what does it mean to harness the power of technology? Because I can give you one little anecdote. I stayed at a place the other day whilst I was up in Auckland, and the check-in process was horrible. They tried to digitize it completely, but it just slowed me down, and it wasn't. It felt like they were just cutting costs without actually enhancing the experience. So it's, to us, harnessing the power of technology is really about creating a better guest experience. So not just trying to automate for the sake of automate or cutting costs for the sake of doing that. It's about basically the reason someone stays at a hotel, not just an Airbnb, is because of that guest experience. And the reason they stay for you and they keep coming back to you is because of that particular guest experience that you created. And so, yeah, I use that example of replacing the front desk with a kiosk. Done right, that is very effective. But I think sometimes when you just harnessing technology or using technology for the sake of it, what it can do is it can be at the detriment of a great guest experience. And so all of what I'll be talking about today is basically you enabling a better guest experience for your customers, and that's through technology. The other thing I think is important with harnessing technology is creating better margins for you. So basically giving you more control of your business. OTAs, I love this as an example. They are just a tool that you should be using in your business. They're not your only channel. And so by using technology, you can take control of that tool. If you go back sort of maybe 3 years or 10 years back, early days of Preno, there weren't those tools where you could connect into multiple OTAs. And so generally people only, chose one, which might be Booking.com or whatever. But nowadays, there's so many of them. And so using a platform like Preno, you can basically connect into all of them and sort of basically take control of that. And then you're just basically collecting customers from wherever they're looking. Again, it's a guest. If you can give a guest a great experience, they will, one, stay with you again, and two, tell their friends about you. Everyone here, and the final thing I sort of talk about is Airbnb. So me personally and my family, we've actually don't use Airbnb anymore. I remember when it came out, it was an amazing new product. But if you've watched any of the media lately, most of it is complaining about just the guest experience, the amount of chores that they make you do, or how difficult it is to find the lockbox key, all these other things. And realistically, they're not any cheaper. And I think when I was looking at scrolling through Twitter, there's some people complaining about it. What they're complaining about isn't the service. It's the experience they get when they get there. You know, when Airbnb first came out, it was this idea of like, you can, you know, go to New York and you'd be staying with a local, and the local could tell you about, you know, all the things that you don't see online. And nowadays you don't get that. That guest experience is completely gone, and it's changed to basically a money-making enterprise. And I mean, basically they are hotels, but they don't have the benefits of a hotel where you get economies of scale. And so I think that seems to be what is the downfall of Airbnb at the moment. It's that guest experience piece. So in saying that, I am going to talk to you about sort of 7 tools within Prino that can help, or sort of technology within Prino that you can use. And again, I'll be using Prino as an example, but if you're not a Prino customer, I'm sure there are some other platforms out there that do some of what you might be able to replicate some of this. But I'm going to go through maybe 7 of, you know, some of these things you'll know, some of these things you won't know, but these are basically 7 things that I think when we look at accounts, and the team, our customer team, do what we call check-ins with customers, and we do account reviews, and these are 7 things sort of come up time and time again that people aren't doing, and these, if you do these 7 things, they make a huge difference to your business and help you grow. So the first one is auto deposits and auto payments. So has everyone here on this call seen our new product release, the auto deposits and auto payments feature? We released this maybe end of last year. Has everyone seen this? Comment in the box if you have, and comment in the box if you haven't. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, cool. Has anyone not seen it? I can see people typing away. Okay, so one of the things that, oh, we don't have it. Yes, okay, cool. So one of the easiest ways for you to get paid faster by OTAs is simply automating it. And so we know that generally in New Zealand, Australia, Booking.com, for example, validates a credit card, so it's able to be charged on the morning of the booking. So the morning of the booking, you can generally charge that card. And within Prino, you can set up a rule that basically, if a booking comes to Booking.com, charge the card that morning. And so you can set that up and have that automated completely. And what that'll mean is if you charge the credit card the morning of the booking, you'll often get paid before that guest even leaves. So you'll get the money in your bank account before that guest leaves. And we know that, you know, when I talk to some hotels, often one of their biggest gripes with OTAs is, how do I get paid faster? And this is the simplest way to get paid faster. You know, if you've got on your, if you've got the Prino booking engine, what you can also do is set up a rule and say, anyone who books directly, charge them as soon as, you know, charge them a deposit, or charge them the full amount as soon as the booking's made. What we also suggest, especially if it's common for guests to have extras, be charged extras, is to set up a payment schedule to have them charged the day that they're checking out. So the morning of the checkout, their card's automatically charged. And that's a huge booster. I actually looked at an account the other day of a customer, and they'd only set up the rule of being charged a couple of days before the booking, but they hadn't set up a rule to charge any remaining balances the day of checkout. And the risk there is if they charge anything while they stay, or for whatever reason happens that their credit card fails, there's no backup for actually charging that card. Yes, cool. So few people don't have it. So I'm just going to quickly show you exactly where to go to get to it. If we go here. So if you log into your Prino account, so normally you'll see this on my test account. If you go to settings, and then if you go to auto payments, and the first time you set this up, we will actually give you a bunch of suggestions on order payments you can create. But the world's your oyster in terms of what you can do with this. There's a whole bunch of different rules you can do. It's very similar to our sort of email automation, but basically this gives you the power to control when you're charging a particular OTA. So yeah, so this, I mean, I can see there's a lot of people who actually aren't actually using this. So before the end of the week, I think you should set this up. This would be a huge help. And then just quickly, I can see Kendra on there. So Scotty or Kendra, do either of you have admin rights to help me with the question and answer section? Whilst they sort of sort that out, I'm going to switch over to the next tip. The next tip is auto email. So what, and this again still blows my mind when I talk to customers who don't actually have auto emails set up. And at the end of this, I'm actually going to show you a tool for basically writing these emails in an instant, which will be quite cool. Because as part of Pinot Academy, you get a bunch of templates that we give you. But if you want some custom templates, I'll show you how to quickly write those up in sort of 2 minutes. But as standard, what everyone here should be having is a welcome email as soon as someone comes. So you should basically say, hey, thank you for choosing us. We're excited to have you stay with us. And then what's often good is to add a few things like, here are some things to do in the area that are quite local. And you can often ask information about them. So for example, you could ask them, hey, look, what if you're depending on what kind of property you are, you can ask them, hey, what is your reason for staying with us? And if they say it's our honeymoon or whatever, boom, there's a great opportunity for you to surprise and delight them as soon as they come. And then and then basically just invite them to come, basically humanize them and make a personal connection with them. So if you're not doing this, if you don't have automatic emails, I'll show you exactly where to find it. You should totally go and do that. So let me switch over. So you're in the settings tab over here. And if you go down to emails, and then in here, what you can do is you can create templates. So I know most of our customers are using templates. Templates are basically just easy ways to respond to someone. If you're constantly getting a particular message, you can create a template and in one click, you can send out that message to them. But if you scroll a little bit further down, you can set up automation. And again, this is based on whatever rules you have. And you can basically go create, if a booking comes from booking.com, send them this email. If a booking comes directly, send them this email, or whatever it is. If it's a group booking, send them this email. There's a whole bunch of different options you can do there. But I would spend 5 minutes basically going through, looking at what you could possibly do and actually constructing some of these emails. Cool. And now the next part I would do is add some marketing emails. Oh, this is not the content that it should be. I remember what it is though. So ignore what it's saying there, but basically there are a few different emails that you should definitely be sending to your your customer guests. One, you should, after they stay with you, 24 hours later, you should 100% be sending them an email. Hey, we loved having you stay with us. Do you mind writing us a review? Can someone send me the name of a property as an example? So someone send me a link to their hotel or the name of their property. And we'll show you where this is a quick example. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the Tata Pori. Oh, I wrote that wrong. Sorry, I can't spell Pori. No. Okay, cool. So we know as a property that you live and die by these Google reviews. And so if someone books directly, what you should do is have so if we just go to, this is on Tatapuri, this is their particular Google link, and great, so they've got 288 reviews. So hopefully they're already doing this, but basically what you should do is set up a thing. And so if you copy and paste this link, if you send this to anyone, so setting up a rule within Preno that says anyone who books directly, send them this link. And then boom, what this enables them to do is basically with one click, click the button, give them a star review, write a little comment, and boom, post it off. You'll be surprised how just making that one simple change increases the number of views you do. And if we remember back, we just go over to Preno. Remember that you can do this by OTA. So for example, if you're sending someone at booking.com a follow-up one day later, send them the booking.com link. If they booked through Expedia, send them the Expedia link. If they booked directly on your website, send them that Google link that I showed you. So that thing, one change there will make a world of difference to the number of reviews you get as a property owner. We actually do that something similar ourselves. We know that reviews are also important, and so after a customer's gone live, we often send them an email and say, "Hey, let me just close that. Hey, we'd love to hear what you had to say about us." The next one is optional extras. So this again can let's hope a customer send me a link to your booking engine, your Preno booking engine. But do I recommend Google reviews over TripAdvisor? So the important thing to understand is you have to be, it's part of the game. You have to be on all of these different platforms. And so you have to distribute your reviews across all of them. So what I would do is, and this is what we know, there's like tons of different ones. And so what I would do is I would set up automation across all of them. And then if, say, for example, there's a particular channel that you're getting quite low or some of the reviews are getting quite old, I would change the links in all of your emails to point to that particular one. So let's say, for example, you realize you've got, in this case, Tatapuri has a lot of reviews on Google, but maybe they don't have that many on TripAdvisor. And so what I would do from there is I would start sending off a bunch of reviews to the TripAdvisor link. So I would be deliberate about it. Think of it like a strategy. You've got to constantly be moving your reviews and adding more reviews to all the different channels. And if anything's getting old or stale, I would send more reviews that way. So that's how I would work it. So let me just, okay, so now just quickly back to optional extras. Is just real quickly in here. So on your booking engine, and I know so many of my customers, when I've spoken to them, especially during the early stage when we're talking about the product, we always say, set up your optional extras. But then a few months later, we go to look at their booking engine and it doesn't actually have that. And basically you're missing out on revenue right there. So I'm just showing you this example of my sort of test booking engine. But optional extras are basically a quick and easy way for you to get extra money. So simple things like champagne on arrival, boom, this, you might put that as $200, whatever it is, but boom, it's a $60, $70, $80 bottle, and you've just made extra money. So it's a great way of just, someone's already committed to buying, but if you can get an extra $100 off them, then great, that's money that you never otherwise had. And so I thought what we could do is, just as a quick exercise, is could everyone comment in the box, what are some optional extras that you could put in there? Or if you're already using this tool, tell us what you're actually using. Ah, yes. What have we got? See Damien typing, Abby's typing. Arrival platters for couples. That's quite nice, actually. Yeah, simple things like that. Dinner platter, perfect. I like champagne because it's easy and it's. I mean, if I was going to a hotel and they said champagne arrival, I would totally book it. So I'm going to show you how you can connect up the champagne on arrival sort of tool. So with your housekeeping. So this is another little tip that you can use. So let me log in to Prino. We go to housekeeping. Okay, so cool. So this is the housekeeping tab in Prino. And so what you can then do with your booking engine, because often the reason I like champagne is on arrival, anything that the housekeeping can kind of do is that means all they have to do is pop a bottle after they've set up their own bottle on the bench. And so what you can do here is if you look in the housekeeping tab, you can see here any special requests that have been added to a profile show up in our housekeeping tab. And so we know that a lot of there's two things that I know a lot of our customers aren't actually making a full advantage of. One is these extra requests that you can add and that you can just get the housekeeping to do as part of their normal day-to-day activities. And then the second one is bed configuration. Things like if you have a split bed or adding a cot in there, it's a nice way of just automating. And because for example, we've just recently had a little boy, and it's surprising how many times you book a cot and then you arrive at the room, especially if you're arriving late and it's not actually set up or it's not actually in the room. And so just having things like a bed configuration, adding a cot, having that actually in there and show up in the housekeeping so they can action on it, adds this sort of, oh yeah, cool, this hotel actually cares, or it's a little thing, but I know for myself when I'm arriving and I've got Atlas and it's late at night and everything's all set up, including the cot, that is a little surprise and delight moment. And that's a sort of moment where I'm like, actually, I want to stay with this place again. Because, you'll be surprised how easy it is to create a great moment there because so few, at least so far out of the ones I've stayed at, haven't actually done that when I requested it. The next one that I just want to quickly show you is guest profiles. So guest profiles are a great way to surprise and delight. So remember earlier when I said send out that email and say, hey, we would love to know why you're staying with us, and then say they're staying on their honeymoon. What you then go and do is if we just go, I'll just click on some random guest here. So guest profiles and guest notes. So what you can do here is you can add little notes around them. Stayed with us in 2001 for their. Geez, I cannot type right now. So if you add any note with that guest, they will never be able to see that, but you can see that each time they stay with you. So let's say this Will person is staying with us again, boom, that note will be there. And then your front of house staff can be like, hey, Will, I remember seeing you last year at your wedding, or I'm so glad you've come back to stay with us. How are you guys getting on, or whatever it is. So those little moments, adding little notes there, basically allow you to surprise and delight those guests and basically create that guest experience that I think very few hotels actually pull off. But it makes a huge difference, I mean, I'm sure everyone here can think of an example where they have stayed at a house at a place and they, the front of staff house team actually remembered them, and that when someone remembers your name or whatever, it creates a sort of special moment. And the final thing I'm just going to talk you through is dragging and dropping. Why is my phone doing that? Can you still see me? Perfect. I think you can. Yes. I should have put my phone on silent. Let's just put silent mode. Cool. So dragging and dropping your bookings around. So let me just quickly show you how this works and how you can use this to sort of surprise and delight your guests. So if you go down to Pino, and if you see here, if you go to the guest tab, what we do is we can highlight in blue any returning guests. And so in my booking system, they're all returning guests because I'm not very good at coming up with original names. But imagine normally in your system, you might have everyone's grayed out except for this Joe Blogs. And so what you can do here is, let's say, actually, I'm going to upgrade you from the studio to the 2-bedroom, and boom, all of a sudden there, if you wanted to, you can see there in a little note that they've been upgraded. And then what that happens there is that when they come to stay with you, you can basically say, hey, look, we've upgraded you. Thanks so much for staying with us again. And again, it's just an opportunity for you to surprise and delight that guest and increase the probability that they continue staying with you every single time. You know, it's the reason why you stay with the same airline or for myself in New Zealand, because of the fake status you get, from going with them regularly. So yeah. So now I'm going to quickly go through 3 additional tools that are outside of Pino that I think are really cool and a great way for you to basically, I guess, with the email marketing, for example, I think one of the reasons why not many people have actually set them up is because it actually takes a little bit of time, a little bit of thinking. So I'm going to show you a tool that you can do to basically use to set this up in a matter of seconds. So I'm going to use it with a live example. Someone send me a link to their hotel. Someone send me the link to a hotel, and I'll show you what I mean. And while that's pulling up, has anyone used ChatGPT? Because I think everyone's been talking about it. These things are completely free to set up. Completely free to use. But I've heard a lot of people talking about, not that many people actually using it. So there we go. Okay, Peter, you're the first off the mark. So I'm going to use your website. Here we go. Okay, cool. So what you can do here, so I've logged into ChatGPT. If you don't, cool. So you've already used it to write stuff. Okay, so cool. So what you can do here is, okay, so pretend you're the marketing person at, can you write 3 emails for me? One, thinking, let's just put, here we go. Let's just put 1, thanking a guest for booking. 2, asking the guest to write a review. And 3, let's just go, remember to include a booking link. And then what's the third one? What's the third email I said? Inviting guests to stay with you again 11 months later. Include a 10% discount. Hey. Wow. So for some reason, you should never do this live. Oh, this is brilliant. But it's funny, actually. I was originally going to use a tool that we actually pay for. So let's just try refreshing this. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Just needed to restart. So yeah, that's how it works. Basically, super easy. If you don't know this tool, it's a great way basically create all of this stuff, which is pretty crazy, the world that we live in where we can do things like that. So yeah, so if you're not actually using ChatGPT, you should go and do it, and it will write out some of these emails. And so now you've got no excuse to really set up a whole bunch of emails. So there we go. Perfect. And now this person's completed the booking. So that was the 3 tools that I'm going to quickly show you. So writing an email for yourself. The other thing you can do with it is creating some social posts. So you can actually do the same thing where, hey, ChatGPT, please write some social posts for me. Has anyone not used the ChatGPT or heard about it before? No, so we've got a couple of people who haven't heard it. And then the next one, I would say, but it looks awesome. Well, actually, I'll show you the social, the way it might work for the next question. Now, can you write me some social media posts? Oh. Now, can you give me some ideas for Instagram? So yeah, there you go. So that's how it basically works. But it's a great way for basically just doing a lot more with a smaller team. So let's just jump over to here. And the final thing I just want to cover off, which you should 100% be doing, is using Xero. So if you're not using Xero with Prino, I think you're missing out on a lot. Especially if you end up doing what I described before, where you're actually selling optional extras. So if you are, for example, selling champagne, what you can do is you can map those champagne bottles to a particular account from within Prino in Xero. And what then you can do is you can say, actually, every time you pay for those champagne bottles, you can put that amount that you paid into also that same account. So you can get a proper understanding of what is my margin on all the other extras that you're selling. Because you might actually find that as you see it, I saw there were people suggesting platters and people suggesting champagne and a whole bunch of other things. So I would test a few different options, see which actually, it's, if you think about it, it's not about how much money you make per room. It's about how much you make after all the commission and fees that you pay to OTAs. And the same way here, it's not about, hey, look, I made an extra $100. It's about how much did I make after actually paying for that good. And so setting up the integration with Xero actually enables you to do that. And I think by actually setting it up and using it properly, you get a better grasp on how your business is doing. And so if you use Xero and it's not actually linked into Prino, I would encourage you to go and do that today and work with your accountant and our team to make that happen. Cool. So any other questions? Oh, thanks for sharing that blog, Kendra. Good. I see Damien saying it's good for using shortening FAQs. So I'm going to move everyone over so I can look ahead. So any final questions? I have one question. Perfect. Oh, and there's a Q&A section as well. I'm going to assume that we couldn't figure out how to give anyone else in my team access to it. We would like to offer the option to purchase gift vouchers online on our website. There's a few ways you can do that if you are. So we know SiteMinder. So Prino doesn't offer gift vouchers ourselves, but we do have some partners that do that. I believe SiteMinder, with SiteMinder, you can make that happen. Okay, SiteMinder doesn't. Does SiteMinder not with SiteMinder Exchange? I'm pretty sure they've got a partner that does. So with their SiteMinder Exchange platform, is it Doove? I think there's a few others that can make it happen. So Abby wrote, hi, with order emails, how do we see that the email was sent? Is there a place you can see that confirms that it's sent? Oh, yes. Okay, cool. So that's a great question. If I share my screen and I can quickly show you how that works. So let me share my screen. Cool. So you're logged into Prino, and let's just go to my old friend. Actually, let's go to let's do two examples. One, and we'll just go to the view booking. So if you scroll down to your emails tab, and what you can see here is you can see the delivery status. And so in this case, this one's been delivered, this one's scheduled. And so once it's actually confirmed to be sent, it'll say delivered. So if we go to grid, and if we go to a person who's already stayed with us, and if I go to my email section here, so this is a fake email address. And so you can actually see that it's failed, the email failed send. But if it was actually delivered, it will say delivered. So in Prino, we do exactly what you're saying, which is making sure that that email has been delivered. Let's see if I can find a booking with Menilik on it, because I would have used my actual email. See if you, here we go, here's Menilik. And we'll go view booking. Yes. And then there you go, delivered with a tick. Deliver with a tick, and then you can see scheduled the 10% off your next day, which is sent to come out to me in a few months. So yeah, so that's what it looks like in Prino with an actual email, and then in the others it was just a fake email that we were using, and so it'll tell you whether it's delivered, whether it's failed or not. But great question, actually. Any other questions? So we'll look at it again. Cool. So someone sent, thank you. I think I am, what do I have to do? Because there's a lot of chat and I don't want to be scrolling through. You don't want to be listening to me scroll through. So if there's anything urgent or any other questions that you want to ask, shoot them in the next 2 minutes. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming. Actually, wait, we got one more slide to show you, to be honest. I lie, so don't go yet. Here we go. Share screen. Because Damien is talking next week. So you won't have seen Damien on the call. So Damien will be talking about how to optimize your website for booking. So I think this is a great, last year we did, it was probably, I've never seen a webinar get so many questions, but basically what we did was we looked at everyone's website and we gave a bunch of feedback on how you could actually improve it. And Damien's going to do that on steroids. So that is the same time in March. So next week, I think it is. So if you're in New Zealand, it's at 3:30 in New Zealand. If you're in Australia, it's 1:30. And then if you are in the UK, you will get the replay live at 3:30 Greenwich Mean Time. And then the week after that, you'll be joining me for another talk. So yeah, so thank you so much for staying. And yeah. Thanks, team. Ciao.